South Alabama versus Appalachian State, which is going to be a crazy good game. And Sora, you actually start us out this week with the South Alabama prediction. Then 𝗂𝘂𝘀𝗂𝘀, then me.
All right, so I had to re-see who I picked here originally.
All good.
I've lost everything. I'm being discombobulated. So South Alabama is 1-2 and had the explosion of a lifetime performance-wise last week against Northwestern State. Some demons were definitely exercised as they scored 87 points. And despite all the losses that they've already gone through, I mean, 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝗀𝗀 Lopez still has looked pretty good. It's just, it's really the defense. I mean, you look at it against North Texas, 52-38. Then against Ohio, 20-27. And then, obviously the 87-10 explosion. So 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀 has looked good. He's thrown 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions because he did not play against Ohio. That was Bishop Davenport. I don't know. I'm going through just because we haven't really seen much. I mean, we saw App State put up somewhat of a fight against Clemson. Not really, as they, it was 50. So it was like 56-13 at half. But I mean, you've seen some of their fight there. Kind of just to keep it short and sweet. I think South Alabama's going to win this. I think they're going to keep rolling on with the momentum that they had against Northwestern. They needed a game like that. It was close against Ohio. They exercised some demons against the Northwestern Demons. I think they're going to continue. Excuse me. I think they're going to continue. Northwestern Demons.
I can't believe it.
You choose both of these teams.
The Jaguars.
Not the Jacksonville.
I want to say I picked South Alabama earlier on in the season, and I was proven wrong. I think both times when they played North Texas and Ohio, I believe I picked South Alabama, and I was wrong both times. Yep. So you would think that I would be like, oh, all right, I've seen this one before. I'm going to go with App State, but no. I'm picking South Alabama to win. And let me set the scene for you really quick. Both of these teams are coming off of very different games. As Sora alluded to, South Alabama essentially mercy ruled Northwestern State. They were winning by so much in the third. They already dropped 80 points that both coaches agreed to an abbreviated fourth quarter of 6 minutes. So that happened over the weekend. Meanwhile, App State had a narrow victory over East Carolina, whose quarterback is, I believe it's Eric Garcia. I think that was his name. I forget, but yeah, he was a former highly touted prospect, I believe, at Miami. Anyways, getting back to this game, the important players and keys to winning for each team. For App State, quarterback Joey Aguilar. 5 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in the air so far this season. He's a dog, but so far he's struggled compared to last year when his touchdown to interception ratio was 33-10. I need to see him be better, improve that ratio of 5-3 right now, because that's just not very good. The thing that he does well, though, is that he can pose a threat on the ground. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in week 1, and if he can do that again, App State has a great chance to win. In the 2 real games they've played, against North Texas and Ohio, South Alabama has allowed over 90 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns to quarterbacks. So the dual threat quarterbacks have really worked South Alabama. If App State can get the ground game going, but also involve Aguilar, then suddenly, right, this game gets a whole lot different because it's been proven to be kind of an Achilles heel for the South Alabama team, right? On the flip side, South Alabama has a great matchup with their running game, and that's headlined by true freshman 𝗕𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗲𝘀𝗀, who, I'll give you a little sneak peek, is on week 3's edition of the Freshman 15, which will be posted on our website in a day or two. Bothwell leads the team in rushing and had a 7-carry, 143-yard, and 2-touchdown performance in their blowout against Northwestern State, and is averaging, I believe it's over 8 yards a pop. App State's weakness right now on defense is defending the run. East Carolina, Clemson, and even Eastern Tennessee State all had their way running the football on the Mountaineers, not just in terms of efficiency, but also in total yardage. This App State defense has not been able to stop the run, and that is arguably, South Alabama's strength. Even quarterback 𝗕𝙂𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀 can, get him work with his legs. So I see this South Alabama offense matching up really well against App State's weaknesses, and I think that that's going to be enough for an upset. I think that they're going to just have their way in the ground game, and I haven't been all too impressed by App State's offense to this point. So I think that, South Alabama's defense may be a little questionable, but I think they have a far better matchup. And especially because, South Alabama's starters, they were able to rest for most of the game last week. Not just because the game was shorter, but even a guy like 𝗕𝘂𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀, who's their leading rusher, he only played 9 snaps last week. 9 snaps. That's crazy. Meanwhile, App State is coming off of a tough, grueling, I think 2-point win against Eastern Carolina. So while they're, worn out, beaten down, coming off of a tough win, South Alabama is fresh, right? Their starters were able to, kick their feet up and relax a little bit in their last game, and their backups got some work. So I think a lot of things are pointing towards South Alabama for me, so I'm picking them this time, and if they lose, then I'm never picking South Alabama in a game ever again. I don't care who they play. This is the last straw for me. They better get this one.
Agreed.
Yeah, the thing about this game is it's going to be super close. I mean, and the one thing that people are not considering is this is a Sun Belt Conference game too. So, and they're on opposite sides of the division because the Sun Belt is the last conference with 2 divisions, right? So they could match up later on in the championship game. So we could be seeing what is a preview for this whole thing. Again, you guys talked about Joey Aguilar. You guys know how I feel about Joey Aguilar, but one guy that's been super surprising for everybody this year is 𝗕𝙂𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑀, man. He has not thrown an interception this year, and their running game has been super solid
right now.
Both of their running backs that have over 100 yards so far, one is at 8.3 yards a carry, 10.6 yards a carry. Their next running back that has 6 carries, he's at 12 yards a carry. And collectively, this unit has 9 touchdowns on the ground, which is something that we can't say about Appalachian State. The other end of that is there are several different weapons on this defense that are going to be able to stop App State. Started with the linebacker, Blaine Merrick, man. If you've never seen this guy play, he's all over the field. He's one of the highest tackle guys in college football right now, 25 total tackles. And the other thing that App State that doesn't have that South Alabama has is they're going to be able to stop their passing game because their passing games are pretty similar. I know that Joe Aguilar has thrown for 300 more yards than 𝗕𝙂𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑀, but when I look at the stat sheet, and I've been trying to find things to separate these guys, right? You look at third down percentage. It's virtually identical on both sides, offense and defense, of them converting and them stopping. Then you go to things like penalties, and they're virtually the same. So you're trying to find a balance here. The one thing that stuck out on paper to me, and why I'm giving South Alabama the edge, is they've played receivers very, very well. And their corners and also their linebackers are really good at defending the pass. They have 7 passes defended to Appalachian State's 1. So if you're going in there and you wanted somebody to be able to knock the ball down and really make them one-dimensional and bring that game to them with their linebackers that can tackle. Their cornerback has, and Jordan Scruggs has 17 tackles for a corner. I'm looking at that whole package and saying, I don't think Appalachian State has the juice to come in there on any side of the ball and continue what they have been doing. Now, I understand that they've played Clemson and I understand that they played East Carolina, but they haven't had to travel that much. And they haven't had to play anybody out of their geographical location as much. They've been playing on the East Coast. When you look at somebody like South Alabama, they had to go to Ohio. You know, they had to bring North Texas to their house, and North Texas is a high-powered air raid type of offense, and they've been putting up a lot of yards in the air. Gio Lopez went down there and threw 432 yards against those boys. So, and Jamal Pritchett is one of the most up-and-coming, better wide receivers in the country. He had 197 yards in that game. I don't know. I think they continue to steamroll that they've, you know, not the steamroll because they've obviously lost their last two games, like Khali said, but I believe this is where they start to get their feet under them. And the worst thing to happen in a rivalry game or a conference game is for a team to come off of two losses where they feel like they should have won with the stats and the numbers that they've been putting up as well. I'm saying right now, give me South Alabama to come in and win this game as well. So I don't know. We're all going against what Vegas is saying, but when you really look at it, man, it's really just like find a needle in a haystack. The rest of the guys, though, everybody's picking Alabama or South Alabama. Actually, I think that's wrong. I think
I'm about to say, I know Don in the comments said App State wins.
Hold up. Did I have that wrong, Don? Because my little thing. Don needs to answer me. Are you still in the chat, Don? Please. Sir, please.
It's almost 11. Don's probably in bed. Who are we kidding?
Oh, no. He did have he did have Appalachian State. So that was my bad. So I'll go ahead. I have it right on my other graphic, but I didn't have it right on here. So we're Donald. There we go. The stats guru.
Out of here.
So he's going.
You already know Khali ain't picking Appalachian State.
So all the
fam.